Okay, this is a video about the Prosharp Home 24 volts, the uniqueness of this connector. Um, this power supply is like a standard power supply they've bought that they've used for like TVs and stuff, but the connector is a mini DIN, but they went through and have it wired different than ones you just buy off the shelf that's not from Prosharp. Okay, this is the Prosharp Home. This is the DIN connector off the stock supply. And the purpose of this video, I want to go through and see, want to buy another one of these to cut up to run a unit off 24 volts DC off a battery pack. I didn't want to butcher the stock one, but all the ones I've been able to find, I found this will physically plug into the unit, but the pinout is different. Once I pin out the way the voltages are. The stock unit, you got the key here, and these two on this side are plus 24 volts. The ones over here are at minus 24 volts. So at least on the unit, these two pins are connected together inside the unit. These two are connected together inside the unit. And then on this connector, if I take and probe this with a voltage voltmeter, there's 24 volts across these two, 24 volts across these two. For clarity, the ones on the left side are 24 volts DC. Now in this clone unit, when I say clone, this has the right voltage, 24 volts at say 3 to 4 amps, and then it also has the right connector, but the pinout is different. It'll physically plug in there, but on this one, I don't know if it's made for a TV or whatever, you've got 24 volts between the pins away from the camera and toward the camera. So the ones that are close to the key here are 24 volts DC positive. The ones back here are negative. And you saw a spark because I had that on. That's the clone unit. But anyways, so you can't just plug this one in and have it work. So I'm going to probably end up cutting that connector off and hooking it up for the battery usage. And I have no idea if the unit's got a diode in it, so it's idiot proof. But if you plug this unit into the Prosharp Home, it's going to short out because the Prosharp Home has these two connected together. So if you plug that in, you're going to end up shorting your supply out. These two on the right side of the screen are on ground. Okay, here's the Prosharp Home. This is the DIN connector, 24 volts DC in. The top two pins are 24 volts, the bottom are at ground. So for clarity, here's the stock unit. Two pins here are connected together inside the unit and on the supply from Prosharp. And these two are connected together. Got 24 volts DC. Now, the ones I've been able to buy off the internet, just because I want to butcher one to go through and run it off 24 volts off a battery without cutting up the stock supply, the two that are narrowest together are connected together in the supply, and the two up here are connected. So if you plug a 24 volt supply, at least that's a non-Prosharp, into this, it's going to go through and short out your supply. So nothing's going to blow up on your unit. It's just that you've got on the unit, they've got these two connected together. So you're going to have a dead short across the clone unit. And here's the ones that I just did the video on down here showing this. Kind of hard. You got to use some paper clips or something to kind of do the pin out on that. Okay, that's the side of the unit. This is the start button. This is the on-off button. You hit this, the start button up, punch it once, it'll do one cycle. You can hit it 2 times real quick, it'll do 2 cycles. You can hit it up 5 times, it'll do 5 cycles. So for clarity, this has got 24 volts inside. Input on this unit, if you probe with an ohm meter, the lower two are connected together and the top two are connected together. So they've got two in parallel just to get the current capacity up on the wiring probably. And so for clarity on this particular unit, the bottom two and the top two up here are plus 24 volts DC input. Okay, here's the two supplies. This is the one that came with the Prosharp Home, and that's its output connector. This one outboard here is the clone unit I just bought. Clone, I'm saying it'll put out 24 volts, and it's got the right connector. It's just the connector's not wired up right. So as a replacement, you'd have to go through and cut off the connector and rewire it to fit the Prosharp Home. And on here, if you Google this, you've got an EA10952E. Some of them, if you look that up, will have a totally different connector on there. They're not a mini DIN connector. So what they must have done is they must have gone through and had a custom mini DIN put on with their pinout with this. So this part number here is not necessarily going to get you the right, it'll get you the right voltage, the 24 volts, but it's not necessarily going to have the right connector. And this particular one here I bought off of eBay, and I've actually bought some of these in the past and they showed a DIN, but they didn't get a DIN when it came in stock. So there's some stuff that people just list a number and they'll say it's compatible, but it's not. So some of these were actually used similar for like I think on TVs and things. So I'm going to take this particular unit and cut its connector off and rewire it so I can go through and run the Prosharp Home here off of a battery. But before I do that, I want to make sure I don't blow something up. I'm not sure if there's a diode in here or not to protect you from doing something stupid. Okay, there's the Prosharp Home from the outside. This is the clamp. Put the skate in, tighten it up. This is where you go ahead and undo this with the I have a little keychain thing, but it just has a coin that goes through and turns this. You can replace a disc, and this is the input to 24 volts DC. This is on off, and then this is the start stop. Hit this once, it'll do 1 cycle. Hit this 5 times real quick, it'll do 5 cycles. So you can do 1 to 5 cycles. And I think the original unit didn't have that, and they reprogrammed that. I believe that's what the update was. But there's the unit that came with it, the 24 volt DC, and there's one that I'm going to cannibalize just for the connector. What's odd is I actually bought some of these connectors here like this from somebody else, and they didn't fit. So I figured might as well just buy one. Okay, we're going to roll the camera. Kind of go down here like this. So this is this supply from Prosharp right here. It's got a part number on there, EA1095, EA10952E.